What's up, glorious, glorified community? Welcome to this quick live demo and announcement, in fact, of a new feature, Mockups. So I'm just going to wait for people to trickle in, and we're going to dive straight into it. So first, I just want to see if people can see me clearly and hear me clearly. So I'm just checking out if the live is all put together properly. So let me just make sure that's happening. All right, cool. Right, seems like we are live. We are definitely live. Cool. All right, guys. So let's jump straight into it. Really, really exciting today. We finally have announced officially the launch of Mockups to firstly our user base, and this is not the this is the beta launch, the soft launch to our user base, and then we're going for a public launch in mid-May, right? But you guys can use it as of now. If you go into Glorify, you can start to use it. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump straight into Glorify and show you how this thing works. So let's jump in and show you what's happening. So let me first share my screen. There we go. Cool. All right. So from Glorify, we're going to go ahead and pick a size. I'll go with HD banner for this design. And let's go have a nice little play around. Okay, so let's go pick a blank template. So we don't have mockup templates alive as of yet. We're waiting for the templates. We're going to create mockup scene templates very soon. But once you get into Glorify, what you want to look for is the mockup objects here with the beta sign on it, right? And once you're inside, there we go. We've got all the objects that you need so far. We've just launched the first batch of objects. This is only the first batch. You have everything from digital screens and the different angles from front, top down, isometric perspective. So you got all the different scenes that you need, which is really, really cool. And we're going to keep adding more. We've just done the kind of the minimum objects at the moment. So you have stationery, and we've got, I went all the way back, and we've got packaging. So let's go and play around with these. Okay, so let's go ahead and first start out with, I want to go ahead and play around with the coffee packaging. I think it's a really vibrant model, and especially when you have so the way it works is very simple. You go on the right hand side, you click edit content, and it opens up. You can then go ahead and drop your design inside here, and you got a preview on the right side. So let's go ahead. I've got a coffee design somewhere here. I believe I do. Well, I did have one. Okay, this is a different account. Let me go find my coffee design. Okay, so this design is not mine. It's courtesy of Alexandra Nikula. We're just borrowing her design for this demo. And boom, we just dropped the design in there. We'll just do a quick crop on this. And we can go ahead and scale it up, center this up. We've got some very cool UI updates coming soon as well. So, you guys have to stay tuned to those. We're really bringing some improvements in the user interface and how you interact with the application. Been studying you guys and your kind of how you guys use the application. We've noticed all the issues that people face, and we gathered that data, and we're going to bring these improvements soon. But with mockups, there you go. Once you got the mockup in the design, you just click OK and you're done. From here, we can go ahead and customize to your heart's content. So let's just create a banner out of this very quickly. So if you have a coffee label design that you're promoting, perhaps you can just, take elements of the label itself, drop in the background, perhaps send to back, and we can just take the background color, get a nice consistent vibe going on. There we go. That's looking great. And from here, what we could do is scale this one up. Some people just need to know that, no doubt, it is organic. I think if you're not having organic coffee, God save you. So, okay, cool. So there's my quick little play around. We'll go ahead and now play around with another model. So let's open up another design, another pages. Let's try something new. So what do you guys think of that? First of all, what do you think of the flow? Let's jump into some of these other models here. Let's create a scene with the laptop, shall we? So let's go ahead and choose top down MacBook Pro and top down iPhone. There we go. No, well, that is a giant iPhone, I must say. So let's scale this down to the appropriate size. And there's your nice little scene. Let's go ahead and throw in some designs in here. So edit content. So you can see what part of the content you're editing in this preview on the left, on the right side. There we go. There's my iPhone. We'll go ahead and hit backgrounds. Actually, let's drop something from Pexels. I know Pexels has really nice, pretty designs. Okay, so let's go ahead. Pexels. Ordinarily, for a screen, you'd want to add some like user interface, right? You know what? Let me look for some user interface. Why not? I'll find something on Dribble, guys, very quickly. Some kind of random. I'm gonna poach for some designers over here. UI mobile. What we get over here. And its background. Again, I'm grabbing this from Senor Alexander Lakuta. Lakuta, I believe his name is. Take the laptop, choose the content we want to edit. You can edit the touch bar here, or you can edit the screen. We're going to go ahead and edit the screen. Delete the logo. So all of the designs will come with a standard Glorify logo. That should be good to go. It's a little bit low quality, but it should be fine for our specific purpose. Nice. So there's your little preview, top down. Got a nice little branded feel. Go ahead and choose. And from here, we can just drop in some more objects, you know, so why not? So what I recommend is go ahead and go into Photo Creator and choose. We're going to bring in our own objects soon, but there's a bunch of objects here that you can drop in right away. So for instance, this type plant. Pick some stuff up if you find something. Ideally top down. And table. Let's try that. There we go. I think this might be cropped. Hopefully it's cropped. Nope. Okay, so that one we got to crop ourselves. Let's go ahead and just do that very quickly. So you can grab other objects from other places. I just want to make sure you guys see that. So, you know, I do recommend going to Photo Creator, find some objects there. There's plenty of stuff to play around with. And once you got it in your scene, you got to get a bit of a natural shadow. And the way you do that is simply go to drop shadow. You know, we'll just blur it out and drop the opacity to about 27%. And yeah, just make it spread a little bit. So yeah, there we go. So getting a bit of a scene over here. Let's try some last pieces maybe. Let's see if there's other models we can play around from our mockups library. Yeah, so we got a bunch of stationery, USB, mugs, you know, CDs, all kinds of stuff, right? So let's go ahead and pick something up. How about some merchandise type stuff? Let's go and add a USB. Why not? There we go. Drop the cup over there. Drop that size about that big. And edit content. You can see this is the part you're editing. Delete the logo. And let's give it that same color and look and feel. I think it's I need to get the same yellow. Let me cancel and get the yellow from here. Open it up. And we're still working on the preview on this. Sometimes the preview might be a bit off. Don't worry about it. Like if once you hit OK, it should render appropriately. So as you can see, so that's done. Let's drop in something else. How about a CD in here? Balance it out. Maybe CDs around this big. Bit old school. I think CDs are slowly getting out of date, but they're still pretty cool to like show off merch, you know, albums. It's the typical syllabum for albums and music and stuff like that, right? So let's go ahead and add something in here. Same thing, perhaps add yellow, and we'll grab some of this logo stuff and see if I can chuck it in here. somehow. Somewhere in the corner. Yep, you can see the preview updating on the top. So you know, okay, where do I want it? Maybe we've got to put it dead in the center. Would make sense. And then what we could do is I'm going to grab another part of the scene from this image and bring that at the bottom. There we go. A bit lower. There we go. Cool. Let's hit done. And there's your CD done, right? Sometimes you might find the CD, like, some elements might be a bit too dark. These are the first initial models. We might go ahead and improve these models in the future very soon, but you can have a lot of controls from the image editing. Just, increase the brightness, increase contrast. If you increase the contrast, you can see they start to really, really pop. And yeah, so there's a lot of control that you can do over here off the bat. If you want to add more shadow, you can add that. But overall, I think this is pretty much good to go. So here's one. Let's go ahead and try something new. All right, so this is going to be the last one. If you guys have any specific requests, let me know. I'm going to see what people are saying so far. Okay, let's drop in another object. I'm going to go up to stationery and let's pick something like, perhaps like the cream bottle. Right, let me find a design. I'm literally ripping off all these designs from Dribble. So, but of course, this is not commercial purposes. It's purely for show and tell. And I will name the designers that I pick from. So, cream bottle design. So as you develop your designs, and what's really cool, what you guys have to know and take advantage of is the bonus that you guys get, right? The bonus you get being a Glorify user is that you can suggest models, right? Being especially an early adopter, you can suggest models priority, and we'll get it done for you. Okay, so I'm in this cream. So sometimes you'll see the label take a while, the preview will take a while to update. We're working on that, but it will update. You can always be rest assured that it will update. I'm going to add this into the background. And I'm going to, so just found this design. This design is from Saleh Kukukaga. Interesting name. But I believe he sounds like he's from Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let me drop this in. And we can scale this up. So you can add, there's so many ways to do this. You can add it in the background layer, or you can even just drop it as a normal layer and hack it that way. Really, really up to you how you want to do it. It's totally up to you. Yeah, so let me see if there's... Okay, I'm going to pick a different design because I think this design doesn't really fit well. So this time I'm not using the background layer. I'm just going to do it normal. And yeah, bring this all the way up. Cool. I think that should do the trick. See how that looks. Okay, so there you go. So you get the rounding effect. I think maybe for this type of bottle, it doesn't make sense so much. Let me just try to scale it down a bit more. Yeah, I think I should have looked at the preview first. Okay, sense this up. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's much better, but I think we can still go a bit smaller. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is to get the other details, I simply go to the background layer, cancel the repositioning, go to the background and hit the same color. There we are. Much better. Cool. So we got that in. Now let's go ahead and play around. We can also edit the lid, the cap, by the way. So, I mean, to make it more consistent, I believe the cap should be black, right? So let's give it a nice little off black color, or you can go deep black, but I think it's too dark. So let's go a bit off black. Yeah, around there should do it. There we go. Now we can go ahead and play around with this till our heart's content. All right, so let's pick something else. I'm gonna keep moving on. I could spend a bit longer on that design being perfectionist, but this is all about mockups. So let's just focus on showing off mockups to you guys. So we've got a bunch of other stuff here. Let's try the can, for instance. Why not? Let's drop the can in. Copy. Let me bring that in. Okay, so let's try this one. Okay, this design's by Lime and Mother Pucker by Brighton Stipetic, right? So that's Mother Pucker, okay, with a P. So interesting designer name. I think that's his pseudonym, but let's drop his design in. It looks pretty interesting. So there is the Mother Pucker design. Let's drop that in here and see how that fits. Center it up. Make the inner part black. Well, actually, let's make the inner part a bit close to that. Boom. Beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and drop in that effect. Let's play around with some effects now. Now, what I want to do is make the design pop a bit more. You can play around with contrast if you want to get the colors really saturated and popping. You can just play around with these controls here. And that's what's cool about Glorify is that, you know, unlike most mockup tools, you can actually play with the post effects. And then from here, let's go ahead and drop in some splashes, perhaps, or a flare. I don't know if a flare or a splash is better. Let's try the splash and see what that looks like. Way better. Let's add that. But I don't want to add it in the front. I want to add it in the back. And what I want to do is stretch it out so we get this cool effect there. Yeah, around there. And let's drop in some color on this. So I would assume this would be cherry, raspberry color because it's red. So we can make the liquid red. And in fact, we can make it even redder. Slightly wider there. Cool. And let's go and add some text. Take a chill pill with Mother Pucker. All right, so let me see what's in the comments. If there's someone's dropped in a design or of anything, then I will go ahead and try it out. But if not, we'll just conclude. That is it, guys. We will conclude from there. I think, you know, there's so much that you can play around with. Go ahead and just check it out for yourself. And I'd love to see the results you come up with, you know. So once you start playing around, getting your hands dirty in the process, send us some of the previews that you've done. And we'd love to take a look. You know, we've got a bunch of models that you can see. They're very hyper realistic, as you can see. We got pump bottles, a whole, you know, vitamin containers or cylinder containers, you know, coffee packaging, but in sort of the paper bag coffee packaging. The list goes on and on and on. We've got so much of this stuff. And when you do update this, you can see how realistic in terms of the warping is. Like if I take this, for instance, let's edit the label part. As you can see, here's a label. Drop in a design in here. You're going to definitely notice that without a shadow of doubt, there's some very, very hyper realistic warping going on. So yeah, I mean, if I drop this label as an example, and we also got some supplement bottles coming up. They're pretty much done. They just need a bit of work on it, on the warping, and we will launch those soon. But yeah, just take a look at that. You can literally get results instantly like that, right? Let's go ahead and choose something like a coffee design again for this one as well. Let's go ahead and try that. So this is more of a paper effect feel. Give that a little quick go. You'll see the texture is very paper-like, right? So you got really, really super hyper realistic paper feel for this packaging here. And if you want to add more contrast into it to make the colors pop, you can go ahead and do that just for your own preference. So yeah, pretty decent there. And yeah, this we'll just try this cylinder one as the last one. Go ahead and pick something interesting like, I don't know if I got something here for this, but maybe we could just try this one as a test. It's not really a skincare product, but why not? We'll just add that as a test. Hit done. So you got a whole, unique canvas to play with when you're playing around with this, right? And there's different editable parts. Don't forget that you can edit these individual pieces. And as you're editing them, of course, make sure that you make note of what part you're editing, and then you will see the result manifest in the actual model once you hit done. Hope you've enjoyed this session, guys. That is it for this quick demo on mockups. We're going live publicly on around mid-May with this feature full force. You're going to have a whole lot of new developments in terms of the UX. We're switching things around based on, people are finding things difficult. They were looking for layers. They were looking for pages, and things were maybe a bit too hidden. We had different ideas when we started Glorify 2.0. We thought it'd be cool to nest some of these features like layer pages in the bottom right corner because they're not as frequently used, but we've realized people use them very frequently. Like layers and pages are probably the most used features in Glorify. We're going to minimize all this information on the top and give you the stuff that's most necessary here. So declutter, make a better UX flow. So all these stuff is going to be happening in mid-May. So stay tuned for the launch. Support us during the launch. And there's some other stuff that we have to announce very soon. So stay tuned. There's some really exciting things happening inside with the Glorified team. So with that, guys, stay glorious. I'll catch up with you guys soon. Take care.